Wait, can you see that peeling? It's like literally lifting the paint off. I like that how you're doing. I hope you're all doing well. Generally, I really hope that you are having such a good day today. It's nice here, the weather is sunny, it's shiny. I really want to take a nap right now, but I'm trying to stay upbeat because this is one of my favorite videos to film. I do them every few months and we're due for another one. It is time for another art hack testing and reacting video. It's kind of like a mixture of me reacting to art hacks as well as trying art hacks and seeing if they work. A lot of these are also art tips, not necessarily art hacks. I know that's something else people get really anal about. They're like, that's not an art hack, that is an art tip. So yes, this video is most likely going to be a combination of art tips, art hacks, tricks. I may use those words interchangeably. Yes, I know they're different things, but it's just art things that you can do. Clever ideas. Okay, so this first TikTok art hack.
Did you know you can use regular eggshells to help choose your skin tones for painting? So this one's pretty close to mine. It's a regular eggshell, and you can use these. You can create shadow.
That's really smart.
Shadow, what colors you'll need. They're very useful.
That is a really smart idea. However, your skin tone would have to be like within this much of a range, and that's pretty much it. Just like a lot of makeup brands don't have a huge variation in shades. Fun fact, I used to work in Ulta and I am a very pale person. This is me with a tan, by the way. Makeup shades never came in my shade. I'd get the porcelain shade of makeup and in my face would be orange. And I know that it works that way too for darker skin tones as well, because it's just like, unless you're in this little like middle bit, you're kind of screwed. They don't cater to people outside of this just range. And I feel like this is the issue with eggs. That being said, here in America, they have a lot of white eggs, like pure white. So, I mean, maybe that would be closer to my shade than a normal egg.
I spent way too much time at IKEA trying to figure out which one of their pieces I wanted to try for this DIY. So they're getting very inspired by this viral reel. So that's what we're gonna attempt today. I usually avoid buying
pretty cool. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it looks kind of cool.
My number situation, and it was so much fun for me to mix up just the right shade for all the highlights and the shadows. Pro tip, I actually pixelated the original image so I can get a better idea of the colors and the placement, and I found this to be super helpful on what I should do with the background. So
okay, that's smart. I'm gonna be honest, I would not put that on my wall. However, it does look very effective and kind of cool, especially, you know, if you're that kind of fancy person that has like a game room or something, that might look quite cool, or like even an office, I suppose, like a pixelated sort of image. People are so finicky in the comments. Why not thrift? Because when people paint over thrifted artwork, people go nuts over it. Why did you paint over someone else's artwork? It's one of the reasons I haven't done it, actually. I fixed my student's art brush with boiling water. What? I mean, I've done a lot of art hack testing in my time. I've used many tricks and tips to get your frayed paintbrushes back. I've used a bar of freaking soap and done this on a bar of soap. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it usually does work right off the bat, but as soon as you use it or it dries completely, it never quite goes back to how it used to be when it was brand new. It just doesn't. Only works if your brushes are synthetic. It doesn't work as expected. I wanna see if it actually works. This is the one thing I've never actually done to try and help my frayed brushes. However, these very fragile little bristles, they're held in by this thing here called a ferrule. And this ferrule is held onto the wood and it holds onto these synthetic fibers with glue. And when you put hot water and glue together, it's gonna melt. So you need to be really careful doing this because all you're gonna do is just destroy your brushes really with using hot water. But we're gonna try it. For the sake of experimentation, we're gonna give this one a try. Okay, I have a goblet of hot water. I don't know if you can see the steam. Can you see it? It's steaming. So I've got that. I also have a much less interesting cup of regular cold water to compare the results here. So I have this frayed brush and I have this frayed brush, both equally frayed. We're gonna take this and we're gonna dip it. I don't know how long for because it doesn't say, but I'm gonna keep it in there. Nothing fancy is happening. It's still a frayed paintbrush in a glass goblet. When we pull it out, wow, it's not frayed anymore. Would you look at that? Now, we're gonna leave this to dry and I'll get back to you with the results because something tells me this is not a permanent fix. So this is our hot brush. Then we have this frayed one, which is gonna go straight into the cold water. Gonna leave it in for like 30 seconds and then I'll pull it out. Okay, this one is actually still frayed, straight out of the cold water. We'll dip this one into the hot water now and see what happens. This one doesn't want to know now. I don't know. Let's keep it in for longer. And just for the sake of experimenting, I have another one here, which is also a little bit frayed. We're going to stick in. Nope. I think this one is beyond help, to be honest with you, because this one is not doing anything. It's still frayed. This one still has a little bit sticking out on the side there. So I don't know about that. Is that still, that's still boiling? Why did I put my finger in it? Let me get a bigger brush and we'll test that one. Okay, so here I have a bigger brush. This one is just not really what it used to be. It's been used a few times and I figured I might as well just stick a big one in just to see if this works. My main concern with this though is the fact that it's glue. You know, the glue's gonna like melt. Okay, this one worked. This one has gone nice and flat. So we're gonna leave that one to dry too and see how the results are with that. This one though, I think genuinely is beyond repair. It's so frayed. I just don't think it's gonna work. But we'll give it one more try. Yeah, this one I think is just beyond repair. It doesn't want to do anything. So I'm not gonna say this hack works because I think it depends on the severity of your brush, but for now, this one is doing pretty much nothing at all. I'm gonna put these outside to dry now quickly and we'll see if they hold their shape once they're dry. Something tells me they won't, especially after first use, but you never know. Okay, so the large paintbrush has not dried yet. The small one has. So as you can see, it's basically just frayed again. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it has completely frayed. Basically almost as bad as it was before. Maybe not 100% as bad as it was before, but it's basically just gone back to how it was. So for sure this hack kind of sucks. Also, this one has not dried yet, but you can kind of see already it's starting to just sort of go back to how it was before. Also, we lost a fiber. It just was sticking out the top and pulled straight out. So this is seriously gonna mess with the glue and I do not recommend this hack personally. It's just gonna destroy your brushes. These are high quality brushes. This is my brand. I have never dealt with hairs coming out of this brush before and I'm very concerned about what this will do to the integrity of people's brushes because there we go, there's another one. I've just pulled another one out. So I'm not even gonna wait for this one to dry because it's already spraying out and I know full well as soon as it dries it's just gonna completely just go everywhere. So this hack gets a 0 out of 5. It does not help. Don't waste your time. Genius art hack. I mean, is that alcohol or is that water though? But why? I mean, it's kind of a cool idea for kids. If your markers are like drying out, instead of going to waste, you could just do this. It looks like it's water, but I would imagine using alcohol would probably be better for this because it's going to help draw it out. I don't know. I feel like this is like a 5-minute crafts hack a little bit. I don't know about that.
So if you have a blow dryer or a heat gun, you can actually erase your sketch from underneath your finished drawing. Like, it changes everything. It makes sketchbook stuff look so much more complete. You can have the messiest sketch ever, and then it disappears. And it works underneath all sorts of different media, like watercolor, which is awesome because it's like transparent. And you don't want to see your sketch lines underneath.
And I want to do this for myself because I feel like it's gonna just really elevate artwork. Although in the comments they did say it comes back in the cold. So I guess if you live in a tropical climate, it doesn't really matter. But we're gonna give this a go anyway because I just feel like it's fun. For sketches, it's gonna work so nicely. Okay, so like she said in the TikTok, it's not that there's a special eraser with these, it's literally just the heat that's caused by the friction of the eraser that erases the pen. I actually bought a notebook a few years ago that I was gonna make a video with, and I don't know what actually happened to it in the end, but it was basically a book you could write or draw in that you then put into the microwave, and the heat caused it to erase whatever you'd written on the page. I ended up thinking that's such a stupid idea, I'm not gonna make a video with that, but similar concept is basically just like the friction, the heat that causes it to erase. So when you draw and do whatever you want, you can erase it easily with the eraser like that. My husband, by the way, absolutely loves these pens. He has some blue ones for work and they're his favorite. You basically can erase your pen, which is cool. Or like she said, you can use heat. So let's just... That is so cool. And it does sort of come back again with cold air. Like if I was to put this in the freezer right now, I expect the entire line would come back. So it's not really overly efficient that obviously if it gets cold outside or it's, I mean, I don't know why you'd put your artwork in a fridge, but if you do that, it's gonna come back. However, I feel like this is such a simple and decent solution for trying to get rid of lines. But something I'm really curious about is if this will work with Copics, because you cannot erase pencil under Copic marker. It's just not possible to do, and it's really frustrating. Okay, so I was to do this little sketch here, do this. Obviously, I've kind of ruined the actual pencil itself, but you can erase after you've used Copic marker. So I'm really curious to know if this is gonna work with one of these with Copic over the top. So let's try that. Well, that is definitely a solution. If you're interested, it pretty much got rid of the whole thing. All you can see now is the indentation on the paper, but the actual face is completely gone just from the heat alone. So this is actually such a good solution for me because I really like to draw first and use a Copic over the top, but I have to avoid going over the pencil because once you go over the pencil, you can't get rid of the lines again. So this would be really good for that. Okay, are you ready? That is amazing. That is literally so cool. Okay, let's do a little quick drawing and then we can really see how effective this actually is. It's been a while since I've drawn like a proper bear, so let's do that today. This bear is going to be in some water, so you can't see the bottom of his feet because he's in some water. I'll be honest, sometimes I like to see the sketch underneath though, so I feel like this would only work in certain instances where you don't want anything showing underneath, because I feel like a lot of the time it's quite nice to see your little progress sketches. Okay, so now we're left with that very, very basic outline. I feel like this would work really well in certain circumstances. Others, I feel like it looks better with the outline. But in this instance, it kind of allows for more creative freedom. So I can sort of go in there and add my own outline. I'm gonna call him Filbert. I don't know why, but I feel like calling him Filbert. I feel like that's fitting for him. Filbert, and then we've got Wilbert because it matches. But very basic sketch, just to say, this would be so handy, depending on obviously what you're actually making. This little trick or hack, whatever you want to call it, would be so incredibly helpful in a lot of circumstances. I'm not saying in every art circumstance because you might not want to do this, but for me, this will be very convenient in the future. Okay, so here is our little bears. We've got Filbert and Wilbert, the bears. 10 out of 10 for this hack, seriously, it's so good. It obviously depends on what kind of artwork you want to do. Like, this will not be beneficial to you with certain types of artwork for sure. However, for something like this, it was really, really nice. It's also awesome to finally be able to do something with Copic markers and not have to worry about the lines underneath of your pencil and like, oh crap, I've colored over the lines. Oh no, now I can't erase it. But now you can with the magic of erasable markers and a hairdryer. Or if you live in a hot, humid climate, just stick it outside. So yeah, 10 out of 10. This hack was awesome. Okay, so this next one is by my friend Ray. She posts a lot of art hacks over on her TikTok, and most of them I have already tried out myself at some point, but this one I have never seen, and I really want to know if it works because I have yet to find a solution and an art hack to fixing my dried paintbrushes. Nothing is more annoying, especially now I'm pregnant and my brain is just pure mush, like literal mashed potatoes. Nothing is worse than being like, oh, I'm done with my painting. You go off to do something, get distracted, come back and realize you didn't clean out your paintbrushes. I am very guilty of this. It's embarrassing, but nothing I found yet actually fixes the problem. So I want to know if this works.
If you let acrylic paint dry on your brushes, everybody knows that it basically ruins the entire brush. But don't throw it away too quickly because I have finally found how to get it off. And the answer is this baby, Murphy's Oil Soap. I got this giant thing at Walmart for like $3. It's made out of 99% natural ingredients. All you do is pour a little bit in a cup, add a little bit of water, not too much, and within seconds you can already see the bristles are starting to soften up on the brush. About a minute later, you can see the paint starting to dissolve in the solution. And once you start seeing it flake off like this, you're just gonna rinse it one more time, dry it off, and boom, just like...
I need to try this. I need to see if it works. My friend Ray would never post something that actually doesn't work, so I know it's going to. I just have a really hard time thinking that I can actually fix some of my brushes. Does it just work on brushes that are only slightly dried up? That's the question. Because her brush, when she brushed across it, was still kind of able to flex out, whereas mine are just like one solid piece of glob. This one I genuinely think is beyond help, and I'm very sad. I think it may just be a matter of, oh, it works if it's not too bad, but I think this one is beyond help, personally. Then I have one similar to what Ray had, where it's just like a square brush. This one, again, though, it's just like rock hard. I mean, it does break apart a little bit, so maybe this one has some hope. We'll see. We have some Murphy's cleaner. Like Ray said, this is like $3 at the store, so it's not very expensive at all. 99% naturally derived, and it has a citronella oil scent. So if you want your paintbrushes to smell like the outdoors, there you go. So we have a Taco Bell container. Doesn't matter matter which one you use. That literally is citronella. That's crazy. So here we have our container. We're gonna pour some of the Murphy's into it. That's just straight up citronella, I'm sorry. Then a little bit of water, she said, but not too much. Okay, let's start out firstly with this brush, which is not as bad, but it's still pretty densely crusted. So if it doesn't work with this one, then it's definitely not gonna work with this one. But I do have paintbrushes that aren't quite that crusty and dusty. So let's stick it in, we'll see what it does. I'm pretty sure this was like cheap craft paint too. It might depend on the kind of paint you use too. It's getting more like pliable, and you can actually see some of the acrylic paint coming off. Wait, is this gonna fix my problems? I mean, not all life problems, of course, but is this gonna actually fix some of them? Look, can you see the paint is actually coming off? What? This is wild. I mean, if I'm gonna trust anyone's art hacks, it's gonna be Ray's, because Ray will absolutely never steer you wrong. This is actually mind-blowing to me that it's working as well as it. Look, you can literally see the paint coming off. Can you see how it's actually breaking up the paint completely too? It's like chipping off. I've never found a product that does this before, especially not one that's naturally derived, that's not going to be super, super heavy with chemicals or anything. I think this is the best I'm going to get just in this cup, generally speaking. So I'm going to go rinse this off and I'll show you how it looks once I have actually rinsed it off. Okay, I spent a little while rinsing it off and it's not perfect. However, this is the paintbrush. Look at this. It's almost brand new. Like, this is usable again. I am shocked. It looks like that. I just need to scrape off this side a little bit, but it's like basically brand new. The real test though is gonna be to see how severely a paintbrush can be dried out for this stuff to work, because it clearly works on pretty crusty paintbrushes. I wanna know if it works on this one. Okay, I'm gonna have to use a little bit more of this. I'm using fresh because I want to give it every chance possible to fix. Tiny bit of water. Let's see how this one does. Okay, it's been about 30 seconds and I can see and feel the paint softening. This paintbrush, the acrylic I used on it was heavy body acrylic, so it was like a professional grade paint versus the other one, which was more craft paint. So I want to know how well this works with more professional paint, because something tells me it's going to be a lot easier when you're using craft paint to clean a paintbrush versus using a heavy body acrylic from a professional brand. Right now, I can see a lot of purple coming off this paintbrush, which I believe was a craft. Wait, can you see that peeling? It's like literally lifting the paint off. That's amazing. I'm gonna try and help it along a bit by picking it a little bit. It's really trying to come off, like it really is. I'm just trying to like help it on its way because this is so encrusted that it can't even get between the bristles. So I'm wondering if I can help it along a little bit. It's peeling. This is gross. Okay, we have made progress because this is the paintbrush currently, and we can actually move some of the bristles now. Okay, I think I've helped this along as much as I possibly can. So I'm gonna leave this soaking in there now for quite a while to see if it can really get even deeper into that, because already it's 100 times better than it was. It's still unusable, but it's removed a lot of the outside paint, and I'm wondering if I can leave it in there longer, if it will completely remove it or not. So I'll leave it in. I'll check back in when it's been in there for a while. Okay, so I soaked the paintbrush for about an hour, rinsed it out with a glove, like scraped off some more paint, put fresh Murphy's into another cup, soaked it for a little longer, rinsed it out with gloves, and this is the paintbrush. How? I have never, and I've tried a lot of hacks, ever gotten close to something like this with any other art hack before. Seriously, I mean, it still needs a little bit of work. You know, there's still some little crusty bits in there, but this is actually usable now. It's still wet, so it's kind of frayed out a little bit, and it's not obviously going to be the same perfect shape it was when I first got it, but seriously, I am amazed. All the paintbrushes that I've wasted, I could have just done that. Like, it is a lot of work. If it's really crusty, it's a lot of work. But this had heavy body, professional, thick, golden and Liquitex acrylics stuck to it. This thing was a rock, and it got it off with a product that has 99% naturally derived ingredients. So 10 out of 10. This is probably an art hack that I will literally use for the rest of my life. This is amazing. So many wasted paintbrushes. I am so mad at myself. Okay, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below which hack was your favorite that I did today. I try to focus on the quality of the hack hacks versus the quantity. So let me know next time if you'd like to see more about the same, or if you come across any cool art hacks or bad art hacks that you want me to try out in another video. Feel free to send them over to me on Instagram or my business email, business@artofchloerose.com, and I'll be sure to check them out and maybe do another video like this in the future. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.